I want to get this take off. That call, and I apologize, I'm going to forget his name, but the one who was talking about, the standard to which we hold Brock Purdy and all quarterbacks for that matter. It was a very good call. It was a very good call on the radio. There's one but. Sir Mix-a-Lot sized. There's a big but here. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Where do you see his butt?
I like them round and big. Anyway, sorry.
That was all funny. Okay. Here's the thing I'm starting to get real hesitant about is when people use the phrase same energy.
That was directed at you.
I know it was. And I don't care about that. But I now have a retort and a response for anybody who wants to use, you got to keep the same energy. Because, by the way, that got directed at you last week.
Wait a minute.
No, it did. Last week when you were critical of Lamar Jackson.
Oh, that's right.
After the game against the Chiefs, I heard a lot of, Dibs, you better keep that same energy. If you use the phrase same energy, you're on social media too much. That's my opinion. Because these situations are not the same. And no, like literally think about what you're asking people to do. You're asking people to have the same opinion about two different things. You're literally asking for context to go into a vast wasteland. So you're telling me whenever there's a loss, we just have to keep the same energy on the quarterback. That's what you're saying? Isn't that lazy? I feel like that's lazy. Brock Purdy didn't play well yesterday. That's not hard to say. He wasn't awful. I also reject this idea, at least personally, that when other teams lose, we just automatically hold the quarterback responsible. He brought up Dak and Jordan Love. I don't even know. Have I ever said anything bad about Jordan Love ever? I don't remember that. Jordan Love is very good. He's now hurt. That's too bad. He was very good here in the playoffs last year until he was put in a situation where he had to do a fire drill, and he threw a pick to Dre Greenlaw. He threw a couple of picks in that game, actually. That doesn't make him a bad player. Lamar Jackson, what are we talking about? He's one of the best players in the league. He's phenomenal. And I flatly reject this idea of going week to week. It's the same thing we've done to LeBron James. It's like where every play, his legacy is on the line. You miss a shot in the fourth quarter, oh, you bum.
Or when he passes the ball, even greater than that.
You're scared, LeBron. You're scared. Don't fall prey to this. That is your social media side talking. You can have a better take than that. There are so many things that happen in this football game, and I'd argue the Vikings outplayed the Niners yesterday in just about all of them. Their quarterback was better. Their lines were better. Their coach was better. Their special teams was better. All of the things were better. So, no, I will not apologize for not making this all about Brock. And if you are, what are you doing? That's not what happened yesterday.
Well, if you want to rank what happened, and I want to get to more of the phone calls, 888-957-9570 is the phone number. Why did they lose yesterday? If you want to power rank why they lost yesterday, for me, Brock Purdy's play is probably 5th or 6th at best as to why they lost, in my opinion. I would look at other things before that, including an offensive line that didn't give them a lot of time. I would look at a defensive secondary that made mistakes. I'd look at a special teams group that was awful, and I would give them an F, and I don't know what Grandy gave them on Grandy's grades, which comes up tomorrow.
I can't wait. I already can't wait.
I hope it's an F, because for me, it's an F. Blocked punt, muff punt, kickoff return that never should have happened where you had a flag and you started at the 10-yard line.
Yep, good point.
So if I want to rank the reasons why they lost, I probably would get to Nick Sorensen before I get to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I mean, Brock, I don't know. To me, it's pretty easy. Like, it was not a game to write home about for Brock Purdy. It was not. That's not hard to say. But again, my suggestion today, at least the way I'd love to do this, I don't know why every time 60 minutes of football happen, we have to make a grandiose statement about all of the people. So now Kyle Shanahan's a dummy head, and Brock Purdy is not worth any money, and then we stop because we're like, that's it, the coach and the quarterback.
That's it.
There's a lot more going on here. So can't we just say, not a great game for Brock, not an absolute Craterville either. Like, there you go. And I'm with you. Like, not the lead story of the game yesterday, in my opinion.
If I was to grade just Brock Purdy, probably a C plus. C plus.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, it wasn't, I don't think that it was terrible. He did throw a terrible interception
pick, yes.
inside his own 20. And the fumble is the kind of play that you cannot make at this level where you just have the ball squirt out of your hand. He missed a couple of open receivers. And other than that, if you want to be honest with your assessment of Brock Purdy, in the opening quarter or so, he made 3 or 4 big time throws, including, Grandy mentioned it before, the 4th down throw to Jennings, which was an absolute thread on 4th down from midfield.
Like, if you want to make a grandiose statement about a quarterback so far in the NFL,
grandiose.
I'll give you one. Yeah, we should do a segment.
That too.
Yeah, grandiose
statements.
I love it. You do that on your football hour.
It's funny because he's very measured. He doesn't do grandiose, you know?
Well,
so it might be a nice
let's go.
departure.
Yeah, come on, gussy it up a little bit here.
Thank you.
Here's a grandiose statement for you.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson looks awful. There's your grandiose statement.
I had that last year.
If you really want to get into quarterbacking, there's some guys who look really good who you wouldn't have thought so. Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield look really, really good. And then who surprisingly looks like Anthony Richardson looks like terrible. Deshaun Watson looks awful.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Justin Herbert looks like a Jim Harbaugh product now, where like other things are happening. You're not going to ask that much of him anymore. It's almost been the case with Mahomes, too, who hasn't really looked special so far, but we know already all about him. Like,
if you want a small sample size Gardner Minshew greater than Lamar Jackson.
Well, he was in the 4th quarter yesterday.
Thank you.
Kyler Murray has been phenomenal this year.
Unstoppable.
You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I just think there's a lot more going on. So keep that same energy. Is like, I don't know, y'all really running around with these scoreboards on people like that? Like back in April, you said, like, come on, man, we're watching these games, react to them in real time. Put your scoreboard away. Like, stop the gotcha stuff. I don't know, man. Just chill on that. Paul in Oakland. Hey, man, what's going on, Paul? You're on with Willard and Dibs.
Hey, guys. Great conversation. So three perspectives about the outcome yesterday. First one real quick. To me, the real palpable sequence was the 49ers not getting in, and then 2 plays later, the Vikings hit the home run. So that's -6 for the 49ers, +6 for the Vikings. That's a 12-play swing. That's number one. Number two, if the 49ers had elected to take the 3 instead of attempting the 4th down throw, add 3 to their score, now the Vikings home run probably not going to happen because the contingency is not going to be there with them backed up and then taking a shot. So if you take 6 off the Vikings score and add 3 to the 49ers, it's 19-17 if you want to look at it that way. Third and last thing, to me, is take a look at the totality of the game. 60 minutes. Of those 60 minutes, how many of those minutes were the 49ers in chase mode, i.e., were they behind in the game? In Minnesota against that team, in that venue.
Most of them, right, Paul? Most of them.
Yeah. So Dibs, as a coach, can probably relate to the emotion and energy and stress that is involved in coming from behind on the road in somebody else's building against a team that you've had difficulty with. That's high cost, that's high energy, that's high investment. And the longer the game goes and the more you're in that chase mode, the more difficult it is to flip the outcome and get what you want, which is the win. That's just a reality.
Well, Paul, thank you very much. What Paul is trying to do, and we as radio hosts can help you with this, Paul, you're trying to go deep into the context, which really, really matters. It's hard for a lot of people. And I get it.
Yeah.
I'm actually not I'm not asking for that or demanding that. I get it. You want to sit on your couch. You want to eat some unhealthy food. You want to scream and you want the Niners to look good. And when they don't, it's like, well, that was a stupid play call. And the quarterback is not amazing. And then you go on about your day. And that's fair. There's nothing like unfair about that, but that's not really what's going on. There's so many more things going on. And then as far as this 2-play sequence, if it goes that way, yeah, the context of this game it is different. You're on the road. That's a hard place to play. For all we know, the Vikings are actually a pretty good football team. You were behind, and quarterbacks, this will be big now. All quarterbacks turn the ball over more when you're behind. That's just a fact. That's a fact of the league because you take more chances because you're behind. So, go back to last year against Minnesota. I remember we talked about this last week.
Yep.
Brock had some turnovers. Yeah, because they were in freaking go mode. You knew they were going to pass, and they had to force some things to try to get back in the game. That's going to cause more turnovers. So that was part of yesterday, too.
Yesterday, the big thing, though, to the caller's point is, you're behind and you go into the locker room, you're down 13-7. You come out, you force a 3-and-out, then you punt it back. Then they punt it back to you. The defense was doing its job early on. You get the ball inside your own 20, and that's where the Brock pick really hurt you. And that, to me, was one of the biggest plays of the game where he sees Juszczyk, and he sees him, and he thinks about it, and he throws it late. And that pick is really what swung the game. Because even though the first half didn't go well, and Jefferson hit the home run, and you failed on 4th and 2, and all the rest of it, you were only down 6. And the defense had forced 2 punts early in that third quarter. So that interception, which led to the first play touchdown, now you're down 20-7, and now you're in a spot where you have to kind of abandon the run.
Bad pick. Bad play.
Bad time.
Bad time, bad throw. You're absolutely right.
Because the defense had gotten you a little bit of momentum back by holding them twice, and then, you get the ball back, and you're hoping for one of those classic Shanahan drives, 14 plays, 80 yards, 9 minutes off the clock, and you would be up 14-13. Instead, Brock Purdy on the second throw throws that ghastly pick, and then they go 1-play touchdown. Boo-boo.